It's Monday. We're back. It's unavoidable. So here we go. It's the Bumblecast. I'm still Ian Flynn, the Bumble King. Sitting right over there is still Kyle, JCRB Kraus. We got more questions. We got more answers. I don't know what else to tell you, folks. That's the show. It's what we do. Here we are. It's what we're doing.
This is weird. But I'm sorry, Ian. I'm sorry. There's so much. There's just so much. It's all so much. There's too much.
No,
I'm with you. I feel
success.
You. I feel
we
you.
revel in it.
I know. But you're
so much content coming to you this month. It's fantastic. The show has never been this prosperous.
But you have all sorts of other stuff going on, and it's just exhausting for you. Things you can't talk about. Knowing smiles, knowing exhaustion. I think that's what we're up to.
And
knowing tiredness, knowing yes.
That's just the life of a freelancer. So
yeah. I suppose. Well, we do in fact have a lot of questions. And they need some answers. I mean, some of them. Most of them may need some answers. Other ones, I don't know. Some of your questions, guys, I don't know. I do know. We're going to get into one. We're starting off with the Z's. So it's The Cartoonist. Starting us off with the priority Q&A, which comes to us from patreon.com/bumblecast. Ko-fi.com/bumblecast, and our YouTube members. Have either of you read any European comics like the Italian Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck comics, Topolino and Paperino? They stand out as what happens when nobody tells you no, because they adapted Dante's Inferno in the 50s with Mickey as Dante. Sounds amazing.
I want to see Paradise Lost, but with Goofy as Lucifer. He gets cast out of paradise. Yo!
Oh no! I've never read these. No, I did. I don't even think I realized they ever existed.
I've not read much, any of the European Disney that I know of. What little, very little European comics I've experienced is a bit of Black Sad, which is phenomenal, but I don't know. There's a lot of titles that I need to read. There's a lot of stuff I need to get into. It's all on the list.
Mm-hmm. A very tiny little bit of Asterix, like just a very small smidgen of what I'm familiar with, but that's about it. So there's just so many things. It's just a lot of things. We got a question here from Windstar Osprey. In the case of the Pirate Princess arc, the last arc of Sonic Universe, Blade tells her brother Razor that she's glad he rejoined the crew because, quote, people like them don't belong anywhere, unquote, and seems to harbor a great deal of resentment and a desire to get even with the world. Were they discriminated against for being sharks?
No, it wasn't a racism thing. It was just their lot in life. They were orphans. They were thieves just to get by. Part of the reason why they joined the pirate crew is because they got caught by the pirates pirating the pirates. And it was like, hey, you're pretty good pirates. Let's make you pirates. So
Yar.
They're from outside polite society, and that's hard to change your worldview when the world's turned its back on you.
Well, polite society is boring anyway, so screw it. Here's a question from Ty H. Is it possible that we might see Whisper tag up with new characters in the future? Assuming that there might be another story with Tangle and Whisper tracking down Mimic, and after that story plays out. It would be really cool to see Whisper get more comfortable with everyone else and maybe revert back to her older personality.
We'll see Whisper with others for sure, but she's not going to change back to who she used to be. That would defeat the entire purpose of her character arc up till now. She's seen trauma. It has affected her, and where she goes from here is to heal and to grow. But you don't experience something like that and then just go back to the way you were.
Right. Yep. But it would be nice to see Whisper team up with someone else, some other characters, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to
That
see
goes
that.
for everybody in the book.
Well,
Everybody needs to go on adventures with everybody else.
Yes, it's time to switch up the partners. Here's a question from T Ranger. In Worlds Collide, what kind of world is Sonic's? He mentions the Egg Viper, so it is more like the games. But if so, how did the Freedom Fighters fit into this altered world that was used for the crossover? Considering we saw that Snively still exists, and Sonic had to have known about some history with him and the Freedom Fighters in order to attempt to restore the old world. I'd just like to know what kind of history this world had, and if characters like Mina and the multiple Echidna characters like Lee and Daw still existed or not.
It's been so long now, but I'm pretty sure the intention with Worlds Collide was that it was just the game universe. And I think, again, it's been a while, but I think that Snively cameo was not intended. I could be wrong. It's been a bit. At the very least, it was meant to be kind of the foundational knowledge of what the new continuity would be going in, but not 100% because we still were working on that while Worlds Collide was still going on. Basically, Worlds Collide was meant to be just a pure Sonic Mega Man crossover. None of the extraneous stuff. None of the extra media material. And then Worlds Unite is like, okay, we did the bare bones crossover. Now let's celebrate all of it. And it got kind of unwieldy.
Yeah, that's okay, though. There's still a lot of good stuff in Worlds Collide. Or Worlds Unite. But, yeah. You learn. You live. You learn. You Sonic Adventure 2. Here's one from Thigolf. How would you approach an Animal Crossing comic series? Slice of life seems like the obvious genre, but the world of Animal Crossing seems too peaceful and conflict-free to make this an enticing comic book story. So how would you do it? What would you write about? I'm curious to hear how you'd tackle a franchise like this in a long-form series.
I don't think you could do it in a kind of traditional Western Sonic-esque series. I think Slice of Life is the way to go. And one of the things that I wish we could see in more mainstream comics are more than just action-adventure titles. There's more genres within the indie sphere, to be sure, but I'm talking like mainstream stuff, the stuff that most people think of in terms of comic books, and that's too bad. But for Animal Crossing, I imagine, very much Slice of Life, kind of a comedy bend, with little moments of poignantness to keep things a little interesting. The kind of rough concept I had was this villager comes to town looking to start over, turn over a new leaf, if you will, and just learning the neighbors and learning the neighborhood and getting into how things are done in that particular town of Animal Crossing. And just little vignettes here and there, like there's a fossil hunting day, and everybody's out celebrating and looking for fossils, and this one particular villager just cannot find one to save their life. It's just pitfalls left, right, and center. So the main character, who's found about 4 complete skeletons at this point, sees that the one with no luck is really depressed about it, so he reburies what he found last and asks for a little bit of help. Oh no, my shovel broke. Do you mind helping me out here? And, lets the guy have a win there at the end of the day. Or, use the various events, your bug catching, your fishing tourneys, to have little small adventures, nothing too crazy, but something that's fun and lighthearted and wholesome, and just because Animal Crossing is comfy. That's just the nature of the game series. It's just comfy. So I would want a comic series like that to be comfy. Maybe that's not the most immediately engaging. It is harder to have a month-to-month hook with that, to be sure. But it's also kind of capitalizing on the idea of this is not your typical pulse-pounding action adventure. It's Animal Crossing. You pick it up, you read it, and you're like, that was a fun 15, 20 minutes. I am relaxed. Now I have to go back to the rest of the world. I'm going to read that again. Maybe I missed something. Let's go panel by panel, word by word.
And then the undercurrent of darkness reveals itself. No, probably not. Here's a question from Steph Cube. How did IDW get Yuji Uehara and Yui Karasuno to draw covers for the Sonic comics? Why we never saw something like that with the Archie comics?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know if that was initiated by Sega or if that was something that IDW requested. I want to say that the Uehara cover was initiated by Sega. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't make those decisions. It came out and I was like, oh, cool.
Nice.
As for why, different working relationships between companies, as far as I know.
Yeah. Here's a question from Speedweed. So, somehow, Dark Samus returns. It could be through recent events, it could be for a fabled Mega Man / Metroid crossover, but the biggest thing so far is it being between her and Samus, two humanoid Metroids. How would something like this play out? Would it be more fitting to have it be a truly one-on-one duel, gunslinger style, or would it be better for it to be the penultimate battle akin to, say, the final issues of the Sonic / Mega Man crossovers? In that same vein, I just want to nerd out and ask, how cool would it be to see what are essentially two Metroids beating 7 shades of hell out of each other?
Well, to thoroughly rain on your parade, Dark Samus was powered by Phazon, and once Phase blew up, all strains of Phazon throughout the galaxy lost their potency. So, in that vein, Dark Samus would come back and just be a powerless lump. But that's not fun. That's not what you're asking about.
That's lame. That's lame. Put that away. So, no, dude.
So Dark Samus comes back and she's her own personal Phazon furnace.
That's
we'll
right.
Go that route. Except, if I'm understanding Dread's implications correctly, the way Samus is now, she could just tank anything that Dark Samus shot at her. She would just eat whatever was fired at her and just grow stronger from it. So it would be kind of anticlimactic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is Dark Samus just pouring on all the juice, this absolute terror, the one who conquered the space pirates and forced the Galactic Federation to full operations, just unable to do diddly against Samus, who just proceeds to, like a boba. That's it. She's gone.
But would it be a bad idea to eat Phazon? Maybe it
did wonders for Dark Samus. And now you would have Dark Phazon infused Metroid armored Dread Samus, and she's a world ender at that point. Well, she already is. Okay.
I was gonna say.
I mean, there would be literally nothing to stop her beyond that point anymore.
Galaxies left in her wake of destroyed galaxies. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, there would be ways to, I guess, nerf one or both of them to force, the big power beam struggle, shooty bang bang run fight thing that we want to see. But
I mean, it starts at that's what happens at the beginning of every Metroid game. To be fair, so got to depower again. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It could be fun, but
I don't know. Maybe the safety seal that Quiet Robe applied never can't be turned off by will. Maybe it has to be absolute peril before she goes full Twitter chitter fang monster. And then you'd have a fight. Then they could be shooting and running and swinging and smashing and blowing stuff up and leveling continents in their running battle. And that just means that when Samus is about to lose, that's when she, freaks out, goes whole Metroid, and, nom noms the competition.
Oh, that's fine. That's okay. Man. Would be one heck of a battle, though. Would be an amazing looking battle. Here's a question from Sonic PAJ. A humongous trouble I have is switching from one assignment to another. I may spend hours working on a script for one project and then suddenly have to switch to a video editing assignment. I feel an extremely uncomfortable sensation when I have to shift my mental momentum from one large task to another. As a professional, how do you deal with tackling multiple projects at the same time? Do you do a little bit on each one each day, or do you dedicate separate days for each project? I can imagine deadlines may shift your priorities, but how do you keep your energy up without burning out?
Oh, I know that feel. You have my deepest sympathies.
Mm-hmm.
Same. Personally speaking, I have to tackle it one at a time. So if I have a number of assignments to do, deadline obviously applies first. That's order of operations. And then I have to tell myself, this is what I'm working on. This is the only thing in my head right now. That's it. No other thoughts are in the old noggin now. This is the assignment. This is your focal point. And then once that's resolved, mentally I can tie a bow on it. It's like, okay, that's done. That has been completed. It's on the mental shelf. It's out of the way. Now I'm on this project. This is the only thing that exists right now. And if I'm being very productive, I need a little bit of downtime in between those projects to shift the mental gears. And I think that's good just to prevent the burnout anyway. Like, I know sometimes the deadlines are tight enough that you don't feel like you have time to shift, but you need to make that time, because the 30 minutes you take to just veg out on YouTube or make a sandwich or go outside and tend to the garden, pet your cat, whatever. That 30 minutes that you take to rest and recalibrate, if you force it, is probably just going to be 30 minutes of you struggling to shift over into the new project anyway, and that loses productivity.
Yeah.
I speak from experience here. So force yourself to put those breaks in there, and think of that as part of the assembly line if you have to. I mean, that's kind of how I have to tackle it sometimes. Like, I've got all this to do. I got to do this and this and this and this. And it's like, okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to do assignment 1, task complete. Assignment 2, shift gears. Your interim period. This is your current assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Calm down. You calm? Okay. Mission complete. Move on to the next objective and go bit by bit by bit.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's just, you got to make at least a little time for yourself between each thing, It's like, take as much time for yourself as you can, and, just don't go too hard too quickly. I agree with you on that one.
And if you've got a personal project, that it's burning a hole in your brain, exactly how you want to phrase it, exactly what you want to put on the page, but you've got that assignment looming over you, unless it's due within like the next hour, type out that personal thing, put it on the page, get it out of your system. Because if you just focus on the work, at least for me, then you're always distracted and you're kind of bitter about the work you're working on because you don't want to be doing that right now. You're losing time on the other thing, even if it's not a priority. But if you go ahead and just do that, you don't have to do the full thing. Just get your thoughts out there. Then you're satisfied. I have completed this thought. I feel good. That was cathartic. And now I'm energized and creatively warmed up. I can move on to what I have to do.
Yeah, that's something I kind of struggle with, but I'm working on it. So I think that's some decent advice right there. Here's a question from Sonic. In an article from the Sonic Forces website, it says, battle an all-star lineup of foes, leading up to a fight against Sonic's most powerful enemy yet, Infinite. But it stated Infinite as Sonic's most powerful enemy yet. So some people have taken this to mean that Infinite is more powerful than Dark Gaia, Time Eater, and Solaris, while others have taken it to mean he was the most powerful out of the lineup in Forces, Eggman, Zavok, Chaos, Metal. So I ask, how powerful is Infinite? Do you know? Is there an official word from Sega?
Okay, just the website blurb there, that's marketing fluff. That is not a metric for power levels. That is not that's not what the scouter says about his power level.
Yeah, okay? but Ian, you know how this gets taken.
I know, and that's why I'm here putting out a unofficial word of God saying that's marketing fluff.
Yeah.
Don't hang your hat on it.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Solaris was undoing reality. Dark Gaia was blowing up planets. Time Eater was destroying the entire concept of time at the 4th dimension. Mm-hmm. Infinite is not even in their league.
Despite that name.
Yeah, hilariously rather finite.
Maybe that's the joke. Yeah, no. He was weak.
But he's still, at full power, he's still incredibly powerful, to be sure. All the variable rule of cool virtual constructs seem to be fairly limitless. So he could wipe out armies and, manage to take Sonic down through the power of cutscene, but still, he was formidable, to be sure.
Yeah.
And his full might against virtually most of the Rogues Gallery probably puts him ahead of that pack, to be sure. But the statement itself from the website is just marketing fluff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Speaking of marketing fluff, we have one last question before we take a break, and it's from Smiley42116. Who is stronger, Surge or Scourge? Speaking of power levels.
That is honestly hard to say, because we haven't seen Surge in action enough. And
based on some upcoming covers, though, we're about to.
There's circumstances, hashtag knowing smile. It's also hard to do a one-to-one, because if you want to count Scourge's entire lifetime, all the jobbing he did really colors the perception of him. So
yeah,
if we looked exclusively after his reinvention, he still didn't have a ton of W's in his corner. A few good hits, some nice, neat fights, but really not a lot of wins.
But I mean, when he became Scourge officially, when he went green, he did beat Sonic and Shadow simultaneously. So
it wasn't like a full-on defeat, though. It was a 3-way fight that was kind of a draw.
Surge hasn't won at all. She keeps losing. She's jobbing she's jobbing big time lately.
Well,
she's new at this, so
that's the thing. Yeah, she is new at this, and we've only seen her in like 2 fights.
Yeah,
versus how many years in the Archie book. So,
mm-hmm.
To be as impartial as I can, I'm going to say it's too early to say. I mean, yeah, Scourge took over Anti-Mobius, but that's a planet of jobbers. And then the land of the lame, the king jobber is king, so.
I like that, though. A planet of jobbers. The jobber universe.
Stop calling it Moebius, just call it Jabroni.
You take that trophy, shine it up real nice, and shove it straight up your candy ass. Oh, man. The late 90s and early 2000s were a weird time. Weird time. Oh, well. I think it's time we take a break, and then we'll come back with more Bumblecast.
And we're back with more priority Q&A here on the Bumblecast.
Here's one from Slumps. Hey, Ian, are you willing to give advice or critique someone's original story to help out new writers?
I do have rates for indie and professional creations. I can't do it pro bono. I'm sorry, but my time is extremely limited.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to charge for my time for this kind of work. But I do have indie rates for editorial review, narrative direction, and all that stuff. And I am also perfectly happy to work out payment plans because, things add up and a lot of folks are doing this out of pocket. And I greatly appreciate that there's not a lot coming out of people's pockets these days. So you can always email me. My contact info is on bumbleking.com and we can talk about it, work something out, see what my schedule is and go from there.
All right. If you want to consult Ian, you can do that. Scurvy Pirate Hog has a question. Been listening to some previous episodes where you talked about some of your favorite IDW characters to write, but one I don't think you've mentioned much is Jewel. I know many people like her, but I'm curious what your opinion on the character is. So, yeah, what's your opinion and feelings on Jewel?
She's nice.
She's cool.
I really like the design that I think it was Jen Hernandez who did the design on her.
I think so. She's very shiny.
Mm-hmm. I love the iridescent shell, which was the entire gimmick.
It's fantastic.
But she's a very utilitarian character. You know, she was primarily there to be a foil for Tangle.
Mm-hmm.
She became out for Amy, and now she's kind of there to move the plot along. But you know, it's nice to have a down to earth character, someone who does, you know, fill that role. Not everyone has to be a starring role. So she's got a neat design, she's got a fine personality, and she serves her purpose. So yay, Jewel.
I appreciate Jewel. She has some very, very amusing reactions to things frequently and make very good emotes. Here's one from Scruffy Matt. Hi there, Bumble Boys. I was watching Thor Ragnarok this evening, and it got me wondering. Scourge the Hedgehog versus Scourge the Executioner. How does that fight go down? Too easy? How about the Scourge of the animated Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes show?
I have not seen the animated show, so I can't say there.
Mm-hmm.
But movie Scourge? Yeah, nah. He'd come in at Mach 1. Scourge the Hedgehog would come in at Mach 1, and Scourge the Executioner would be executed.
Ironically. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm looking at this. I just look him up. What? Is Scourge's real name Hans Gruberveld? Scourge the Executioner? What? Nah, I think he would hold the animated series version. I've seen Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It's a pretty decent show. I think he could hold his own. He's a bit more of a threat in that show. So I think he'd hold his own, but yeah, Scourge would probably get the upper hand on him regardless. So it's tough to say, but Here's a question from Saving Throws. Gotta be honest, guys, as much as I love Sonic and his games, I'm more of a Rayman guy at heart. What do you guys think about the fist-flinging thingamajig from the zany cosmic fantasy setting of the Glade of Dreams? Have you had any experience with the games? Kyle, what do you think about the music? And remember, the Rabbids are a separate franchise at this point. Yes, they are.
Yes, thank heavens. I freaking hate the Rabbids.
What, you don't like Minions?
No.
You don't like Minions who are discount Rabbids because the Rabbids were first, technically?
They're more palatable now that they've gone full Minion.
Yeah.
When they were first introduced and they were those freaky screaming things, just no, absolutely not. Use both barrels, wipe up the ashes, and flush them. I hate the frickin' Rabbids with a burning passion. I don't care how funny they are in that Mario crossover thing. I hate the Rabbids. Just ugh. If there's that cosmic button to delete something from the universe across the entire time continuum, I'm aiming it at the friggin' Rabbids. Hate those things.
All right. I know some people have many strong opinions about them. I don't really. I'm like, all right, whatever. They're weird and kind of creepy and funky, but yeah, it's fine.
Now, in their original incarnation, from what I remember, they were developing a Rayman game that was kind of like something of an arena fighter, maybe kind of a party game.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a wide variety of them and body types, and they were kind of zombie-esque. And it was funny because here you have these cute little bunnies, but they're being portrayed in your typical monster tropes. And that felt very Rayman to me.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the line, the whole thing got changed into... I don't know what the final game was. It looked like shovelware, to be perfectly honest.
I'm kind of surprised that they have become what they have franchised unto themselves.
Yeah.
Because based on their original first appearance on their own, it was definitely another Wii shovelware title. At least it felt like. So, I don't know. It feels like Ubisoft was really, they tried really hard to push that square peg into a round hole, and eventually they got it, but they had to really shave off a lot of the sides of that square peg.
But now it's its own thing, and it's done, and it's no longer distracting people from Rayman, which I already have done with my answer so far.
Yes.
I haven't played a ton of the Rayman games. The one I played the most was 2, and man, that's a brutal game.
Yeah.
Unforgiving, but it's so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's aged very well visually because the stylization is just so immaculate.
Yeah. So is the first one.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, it beats your face into the ground and you say, please, can I have another? I mean, I've had Legends on my wish list for a while now. Eventually, I'll pull the trigger on that when I have time. But no, I appreciate it for being just this unabashedly whimsical, crazy, goofy fantasy thing. It's neat.
Oh yeah. God, I love Rayman. It's a travesty that Rayman did not come to Smash as a playable character. What is up with that, Nintendo? You have a great relationship with Ubisoft. Rayman is a legendary character. Missed opportunity.
The conspiracy theorist in me goes that Nintendo came to Ubisoft and said, we want Rayman. And they said, nah, the rabbits are the new hotness. And they said, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah, probably something like that. But then they made Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, which are brilliant games. Whatever. They're all good. It's like there's not a stinker when it comes to Rayman. The original game is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's back in the 32-bit era when 2D games were looked on with disdain, but the art style is just so gorgeous. And like, musically fantastic. Like the Origins and Legends have these music-centric levels that are just outstanding, and the way they're done and the way they integrate the music they're just wonderful games, and they look beautiful. And yeah, I love Rayman. Absolutely. Just a weird game, weird wild world, but it's so fun and it looks so good. I love it. So yes. And we got a question from Sammy S. Do you have a favorite Kirby Final Boss song?
O2. Kyle?
Yes, as we've said before. I gotta go with my boy DDD, you know? He has
lots of lovely renditions.
He has many different variations of his theme, and they're all amazing, and I love them all because I love that freaking stupid penguin guy.
Also, Drawaka. Not Drawaka Soul, that gets a little manic, but Drawaka First Form.
Yeah.
That's the stuff.
That's good. Yes, it is. Yeah. I mean, that freaking roar of DDD from Forgotten Land. Oh, man. I'm glad that one took off because it's very, very, very good. So glad that so many people are like, yes, this song rules. I'm going to cover it. So many covers of it. And I, for one, could not be happier. I've always loved DDD's theme, going all the way back to Superstar. It's so good. Here's a question from Quaggle Gaggle. So, what's Omochow's deal? No, seriously, aside from tutorials, what's his story? If Eggman and Tails are the only inventors, did one of them build him? Was he an annoyance gone good, or a helper gone wrong? Or, more importantly, how do you two feel about him? Honest answers only.
Omochow's a mystery, man. Omochow just is.
Mm-hmm.
You may ask him anything, just not that.
You may ask yourself, this is not my beautiful house. And you may ask yourself, this is not my beautiful Chow robot. What do we think about Omochow? I mean, I don't think much about Omochow. Try not to.
He exists in this weird state of being both a gameplay mechanic gimmick and also kind of a character.
Yes.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yes. The fourth wall is Omo Child really needs to stop leaning on that fourth wall because it's going to fall over. It's already leaning over a bit too far as it is. Here's one from Pedanticat. Considering the fact that everyone from Mobius would have a counterpart existing on Moebius, did you ever plan on introducing Auntie Fiona? Would she have flip-flopped between hero and villain like her Mobius counterpart, only to settle as a hero, along with not having an awful childhood? And how would an interaction between the two Fionas play out?
I could have sworn we answered this, but I searched the Q&A master list and I couldn't find anything. So maybe this was like back in the old Bumble King forum days.
I know we've talked about Fiona a few times, so
yeah, it could be some context of the Auntie.
Yeah.
Go figure. Anyway, I would imagine that if we're sticking true to form, Auntie Fiona would not have grown up with the trauma that Prime Fiona did, but she would still try to lean towards the villainy that was so prevalent in the world because that's just what you do. Except, she'd come around to realize that, no, you don't have to be like that. You don't have to be like everyone else. If she wants to be virtuous and heroic, then darn it, she can. She has the agency. She's not going to let anyone tell her who to be or how to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be an interesting conflict between her and Prime Fiona, who has been embittered. You give the world a chance, it will walk all over you. Whereas Auntie Fiona would be, well, let's give peace a chance.
Sure, why not? And here's a question from Nils. We know that Tails does have genius-level intellect. That makes me wonder, if modern Tails, with all his knowledge and insight, would drop his moral compass and go straight evil, how much of a solo threat would he pose to Sonic and the planet? Would he succeed where Eggman has failed?
No, because think about what Sonic does to Eggman. He still beats him rather handedly. Yes, Tails is more physically adept than Eggman, but it's still the same conceit. Relying on your intellect to menace others, Sonic's going to stop you no matter who you are or what you are. If we're going under the assumption that it's Tails as we've known him up to this point and then just has a heel turn, Sonic would not necessarily hit as hard because he's not going to hit his little buddy. He's, he remembers the good times. He wishes Tails would snap out of it. But, if Tails has created his giant, mecha dog tank that's spitting bombs everywhere, Sonic's going to tear it apart and kick those tails to the curb.
As he should. Nah, I don't see Tails going evil. At least not under his own will, No. Maybe if Eggman turned him into a cyborg, he would. But I mean, he did that once, and it only lasted for all of 5 seconds. So,
well, there was that mind control ray in Colors, but
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is the Colors when he did that in Colors too?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Lost World.
Oh wait, was that Lost World that he did that? I don't know, man. They all kind of
Lost World was the cybernetics.
Oh, okay.
Colors was the mind control ray.
Okay, they all kind of blur together. I don't know, man. Okay, I knew there was something. Oh well, poor Tails. Can't catch a break. Oh well. We're down to our last question for this episode, and it comes to us courtesy of Noni. Who can eat more hot wings, Styx or Jewel?
Jewel. Styx has the tenacity, Jewel has the endurance.
Yeah, maybe.
So sure, Styx gets through the first 30, with ravenous abandon. But by the time she hits 31, she's on the floor, and Jewel is still going along after 56, 105, 267. She's depopulated the entire Clucky population of the planet.
Good for her. She deserves it. All of the crap she's been through. Yeah, I think she deserves to drive a species extinct as a treat.
I've never seen a bug eat so many chicken wings. I've never seen a bug eat so many chicken wings.
Sticks would like inhale for a little bit, but then she would just like, yeah, she wouldn't last. Jewel would just go slow and easy, you know? Enjoy. She'd savor the flavor.
And the victory.
Absolutely. And she would be very satisfied. All right. Well, that's it. That's all we got.
But before we go, we're going to give a big thank you to over 150 patrons and sponsors from Patreon, Ko-fi, and YouTube. Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Mike B., Dave M., Coupling Crew 128, Duiz Dizdin, Jay Frost, Salute Your Cat, Andrew D., Hero of Light 13, Scruffy Matt, Ryan D., Chris A., Sonny, John M., Noni, Jib, Don B., Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Fiona M., Chevelle, Invade Turbo, Tunis, Ben W., Blue Title Gamer, Keeper of Monsters, Tick Tick, Access, Xanderoni the Painter, Final Neil, Scurvy Pirate Hog, Jonathan Ink Pants is missing his actual pants. The name is X. Justin S., Solaris Stain, Nemric, Godzilla, Dabbler the Dalek, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Daniel B., Ava Arctic, Pedanticat, Dove, Red the Supernamic, Arcfighter, Quaggle Gaggle, Chad, Nondle, Professor Rye, Jack the Animator, Cameron H., Les, Sapphire Scarletta, Alphamon or Yukin, Joshua S., Omega Watt, Preston M., Noah S., Finest Cacophony, Alex G.S., Kojiro Highwind, Supersonic Fan, Awesome Cakester, Radry, Jolene B., Chase L., Dapper Shinks, Just a Mountain Soul, Callan Q., Red Wolf, Ty H., Starlight Sec, and Tails, Matty H., KJB, John the Rio Waluigi, Derucival, In Zephyr, Mox, the Marble Gardener, Owen BD, Lemur Chicken, Cosmic Cooking Hunter 77, Wild 48, T-Ranger, King Toasty, Miles the Prower, Navarre, Exidel, Agent Kaz, Sonic Fan, Lewis J., Michael P., Rhythm Raccoon, Fenris Asger, Pap, Delta God 77, Miggy Sawdust, Pignan 20, Ty Cyan, Jamal S., Ozjam, Shimmy M., Angela V., Lacey M., Unlikely Veronica, Phi, Timon B., Thievius, Smiley 21, The Flower Garden, Sammy S., The Seer Warns of a Deadly Fate, Bowser Studios, Tetsu Knife, Fang the Werehog, Crowbo, Sonic Mania 2099, Thigoff, Slumps, Hadron Kaleido, Nils, Chaos Sonic 1, Sky the Desu, Supernova, Indabend, The Disgaean, Superior Pizza, Charlie B, Chaos Shadow, Sonic PAG, The Cartoonist, Speedweed, Mobius, Celestial Sapien 73, Butter Noodles, Frost the White Lion, Danny the Light, Ryoko Shion, Zoom, Phelps G, Meta Mode, and Wheels 282 Hedgehog.
All those incredible names, just so many names. It's just incredible how many supporters we have. Thank you. Thank you all so much for your monetary support. And thank you, if you weren't on that list, even for listening and for enjoying the show and for sharing it with your friends, or I don't know, maybe sharing it with your enemies. Maybe you're listening to it because you hate it, but you're hating it. But you're still listening, and that's all that really matters. So thank you.
That's going to wrap us up for now. We will see you Wednesday for another Priority Q&A episode. Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the Bumblecast.
Toodaloo. Put the mic, put the mouth, put your, I don't know what, put the mic in the hole. Speak into the mic and put your hole in the mic.
A number of, whoops. I really need to stop moving my hands. There isn't a video component. I'm not gesticulating to anyone. I'm just talking.
It's okay.
Should just hog tie me here. Okay. For Bumblecast After Dark.
You've been listening to the Bumblecast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
You're not putting that in the after credits, Kyle. I will walk to California. Realize I missed you, turn around, come back to Arizona, and kick your ass.
Well, then at least you'll be here. If that's the way I can get you here, then I'll do it. No, I will cut that out. That is not going in. Wow.